In this video, we're showing how to read liquidity and market structure. So first is you want to come to your charts. As you can see, this is GBP USD on the 15-minute time frame, and quickly let me just show you what liquidity looks like. All right, so first is we want to look for the liquidity and the market structure shift. So as you can see down here, let's assume this is a downtrend and price is probably below the 200 EMA line. That signifies a very solid downtrend, and price went down, made a new high here, then crashed down, grabbing the liquidity to the downside. So this is a grab of liquidity only when there's a market structure shift. So if price shifts structure and grabs this liquidity up here, this is a market structure shift, and this is a grab of liquidity to the downside. So there's usually liquidity sitting below and above price. So once price grabs this liquidity and grabs this other liquidity, making a market structure shift, this now validates this grab of liquidity and validate this setup as a valid setup. I won't go too deep into showing you these lines and all that stuff, because this doesn't really do that much justice to showing you what liquidity and structure is. So let me quickly show you what that looks like on the chart real quick. So as you can clearly see right here, this is GBP USD on the 15-minute time frame. I'm using a candlestick. These are candlesticks. I believe you guys should know what that means. So as you can see, there is a grab of liquidity down here, and the reason why I'm using this low instead of this lowest point is I'm just trying to show you an example of what a grab of liquidity and a market structure shift looks like. All right, so but in terms of the actual strategy I use in trading, I wouldn't consider this to be that much of a valid setup. But in case if I'm going to take this trade, I'll be using a 50% less risk on my trade. So what validates a market structure shift and a grab of liquidity is, as you can see, price went down. Let's say price went down like this. This is the lowest point here. Price went up. This is a recent highs right here before this. As you can see, this strong wick that grabbed the liquidity down around this point. So if price grabs this liquidity and just keeps falling, this is not a valid grab of liquidity. But if price grabs this liquidity down here and goes up and grabs this other liquidity up here with a candlestick body close, for me, most people will say a wick is fine, but for me, a candlestick body close is a much more stronger indication that this is a strong market structural shift, because price grabbed this liquidity of the recent highs, changing from a downtrend to an uptrend. So for me, this will be a much more valid setup to take, because price grabbed this liquidity up here, which signifies a market structure shift after grabbing the liquidity down here. All right, so with that being said, this is just me basically showing you how to spot liquidity and market structure shift. But let's say you want to take this trade right now. How will you take this trade? There are many ways to take this trade, and the number one way is once there's a candlestick body close above like this, you can either take a trade at the body close and your stop loss slightly below the candlestick that broke the highs, which is this structure here. You can either do this way and you take a 1 to 2. As you can see, there's a 1 to 2 risk reward was a winning trade, or you can do something else. You can either go down to the 3-minute time frame or the 5-minute time frame to look for a lower entry criteria. So this is the 5-minute time frame. Let me quickly look for that setup. Right, so as you can see, price went up, although you could be looking for a retest, but price didn't retest this market structure shift. But you could just wait for an engulfing candlestick or whatever. So but in terms of the engulfing candlestick criteria, this is only the points in time where we see an engulfing candlestick. So you can just decide to take a trade right here, a stop loss slightly below the wick of this pink candlestick, and as you can see, you wanted to risk reward. Let's see if that ended up being a winning trade, and yes, it ended up being a winning trade. So there's a lot of approach to trading this strategy, the liquidity and market structure shift. But if you want to see more in depth, make sure to subscribe, like, and drop a comment. I'm just trying to show you what liquidity and market structure shift looks like.